So the Delo was originated back in 1974. That was the year I was born. Growing up as an only child with my parents, I always had a very vivid imagination, an imagination of things that I want to do this one day. One of those items were working in the music business and working with Eddie Van Halen. And I had a picture of Eddie Van Halen up in my bedroom. Growing up through middle school and all that, I was always in just badass shape. I ran a lot, I worked out, and that was my outlet, as a kid. And then I met the McGuires up the street from me, and their dad got us all into running, and we used to run this race called the Peachtree Road Race. Dad got me into running in the neighborhood that I lived in, and so I just loved it. So health had always, carried its weight with me, and it had always been a part of me, not just because of the fact that it was, health and wellness or running or working out, but just the way that it made me feel and the way that I was happy with confidence with the way that I looked. As I dreamed and I progressed and I realized that I wanted to work with artists and be a part of that lifestyle, I ended up doing it. I was standing right next to Eddie Van Halen, working with him, working for Warner Brother Records, and creating realities out of my dreams. So I left the music industry to go into hospitality, really because I didn't have a choice. The music industry started to go down the tank due to the fact that iTunes came out and there was not as much money in what I was doing anymore. And my lofty goals and aspirations to be a traveling Wilbury and go around and market records and to drive bands around and do all that, the incomes of the record industry were not there anymore to allow for somebody like myself to be employed that way. I pivoted into what was most familiar and most comfortable for me at the time, which was the family business, being in insurance. Some of the difficulties that I faced when starting in insurance was the fact that I knew I was going to have to live with my parents. And I was in my mid-20s, and that is no easy feat, to tell you the truth. I got more into the hospitality industry, and I probably drank a little too much, I got a little too fat, and I was complete opposite from where I am at now. But I was never handed anything, so I never took a salary. I never had much anything other than I had to work a second job in order to also perform in my first job. When I decided to go into more of a field of just bars, restaurants, hospitality, I knew it was a big commitment. I knew it was at least a minimal 3-year commitment to be able to move out of my parents' house and buy a condo and have, my own money at that point. When I first started bar and restaurant insurance, from the very beginning, I had signed up a gentleman named Julian Wright. Julian owns a company called Fork and Dagger, and he had the Library Bar and Grill, Whiskey Bar and Grill, Casbah, which is a piano bar out in Long Beach, and many, many others. So he's been one of those groups that I have helped for the last 18 years. We've worked together, and then through the process of slowly acquiring other clients like the Angry Crab Group, like Square One Concepts, who owns Cold Beers and Cheeseburgers, Riot Hospitality, who has Farm and Craft, Dierks Bentley Whiskey Row, and a few others. To this day, I would say I still help about 90% of them from the time that I take them on. Because again, with what I do, it's not insurance, it's not a commodity, it's about a relationship. I know a lot of people in the business, I hear the stories, I care, I have a passion, I care for the person, I take it personally, I take their business on as my own, and I do any and everything I can beyond any sort of reasonable doubt that I can work on getting them the best policy for the price, but also something that is going to take care of them and protect them. When I met up with my wife and I realized I didn't want to feel like shit all the time, that's when I really dialed it back down and back in, and especially when I hit 40, and now I feel the most amazing I've ever felt in my whole life. I just think there's an overcomplication of the word health and the way that people are or are not feeling. I get questions all the time. Delo, what are you doing? Tell me about your running regime. What do you eat? How do you eat? What restaurants do you eat at? What do you order when you go there? Those questions have just come to me from just everybody that is commonly out there working their ass off, 50 hours a week, or own their own companies, or are in hospitality. And that is really a huge aspect of what the Delo wants to do. I want to simplify that. I want to create something that is achievable and that you can go at in order to understand that you can be the best you every day by just taking baby steps, here or there. My dream goal is to keep putting information, keep putting love out there to people that want to accept it. And I want to be able to give the tips and the trades and the information that I've experimented with and experienced over my lifetime to be able to help any and all of these people, not just weekend warrior, but everyday, person that tries to enable themselves to be better and feel better. My job is to go above and beyond to create an added value. Every day, I always look at the aspect of what can I do above and beyond, and not just selling an insurance policy, but what is an extra benefit or good thing I can do for that client. So whatever it is that's coming into my frame of reference and whatever it is that I am working on is what I'm going to concentrate my sole efforts on to be able to share, to improve, and to create a community of all of us together going out and really feeling amazing about life. And the ultimate dream and the goal with that is to touch as many people as possible. A local legend, let alone just a legend in general, I really feel community-wise is somebody that changes the face of their industry with who they are and what they do with their own spin on it, and somebody that is very in tune with the community to be able to give back not just money but information and knowledge and creativity that one day younger people can look at and say, that's a legend, that's somebody that I look up to, that's somebody that I can take a piece out of and create my, his or her own spin out of it and carry that torch on so that we have, a very amazing human race going forward. Find your passion. Fall more and more in love with it every day. I wake up every day. I'm excited to get into exactly what I am getting into. I've had the hills and the ups and downs, but that is what has seasoned me and made me very ecstatic and happy to be where I'm going now to press on to the future. And I really believe that if you create something within your mind, it can create in the aspect of what's in the physical world.
Who's the Delo? Well, tell us about the Delo.
Okay, I'm the Delo.
That's awesome, dude. That is exactly what we want. It's supposed to be fun.